Welcome back, everybody. I'm so excited to do another interview with you. My name is Bobby, and our special guest today is, drumroll please, Jade, aka Round Potato Cat. How did you get that name, Jade?
I have a cat that I found in college after a hurricane. I used to live in Florida for school, and there was a big hurricane, and there was this one little guy left behind that I found. So I adopted him, and he looks like a potato. So he has a very small head, but he has a very potato-shaped like body. And so I always call him Potato Cat. So when I was online, I wanted to make like a funny username and not just my name. So I thought Round Potato Cat was kind of iconic and silly. And then it really caught on as I started working online. And then I had a hard time changing it.
I mean, I don't know why you'd want to change a name like that. That's probably the best name in the world.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. That's dear to my heart.
All right, before we get into the serious stuff, let's start out with a silly question.
Okay.
What's one sound you've heard lately, doesn't have to be today, that you liked and thought it was silly? And can you imitate it?
A sound. Oh man, that's hard. Okay, so I watch a lot of documentaries and I like nature documentaries. I like animals. And there was this one. It was in South America. I can't remember what animal it was, and I can't replicate it, but it was like I think it was Mundi that made it, and it made a really like funny like sound. And what they are, it's kind of in the capybara rodent family. So they're small little creatures that only live in Central and South America, and they're really cute, but they make really funny noises.
Oh, I don't even know what a capybara makes a sound. What sound a capybara
Do
makes?
they make sounds? I feel like every time I think of them, I just think of the internet sound that's like, ooh, capybara. And it's just them eating oranges in a pool. Like they're very chill animals.
All right, let's move on. So you went to college for graphic design, right? That means that you went to college to get really good at like drawing and coloring and designing.
So I went to school for graphic design because it was kind of like an easy way to be creative for myself and then also have a career and continue to, have that sense of making fun things. And so I got to learn a lot of different mediums as well, because I was more pen to paper or painting and exploring with those mediums. And so graphic design was a new way for me to learn how to kind of take my ideas and put them into the computer where other more people could see it around the world.
Wow, that is so cool. Were you always good at artistic things?
Yeah, so ever since I was really young, I always liked coloring and drawing and designing and just kind of like that whole concept of even pottery and doing stuff with my hands. And there's something very soothing for me when I do it. I get to be creative and be in my own world and kind of think of things you wouldn't think of normally and do really fun things.
Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas for like drawing and coloring and even painting, just like how you said. And I love to do experiments as well. And I didn't know that with graphic design, how you could just like put your stuff out there and then people could just look at it. That's so
Mhm.
cool. Maybe I can be a graphic designer when I grow up. Hmm.
It is fun. Even if you're not, it's fun to learn how to draw on a computer, I would say, and kind of taking that and using Adobe or Canva or, kind of those programs and just learning about color contacts and symbolisms and, how to mix colors and kind of this color theory of how they make people feel. It's cool that there's so many platforms where you could just put it up and like even use social media for people to see your creativity because it'll always resonate with someone somewhere. And there always going to be someone that's going to be like, wow, that's really cool.
How do you see things that you like see every day, if it's from watching TV or going on a walk or hearing a sound or just looking out the window and seeing something? How do you use that stuff to inspire your designs or yourself too?
Yeah, so I'm very lucky because I am born and raised in San Francisco. And so we have a lot of these houses called Victorian houses, which is a style that was built a way long time ago. Couldn't even tell you the year. I think probably the 1800s. And a lot of the houses have very beautiful colors. So that very much inspires me. There's a lot of the houses that have the original details and gold detailing. And so it's cool seeing bright colors that you wouldn't normally put together and how the architecture of those can really inspire what you see. I also really like taking two different things and like mashing them together. So for a while, I really like the anatomy of bones, and would take two different animals and kind of merge them together to make their bone structure, but it would be like a llama and a swan or something like that. So the bone anatomy I would lay over and find places where I can make it different, but still it'd be kind of a hybrid animal. So yeah, I kind of take everyday life and stuff like that, and just storytelling I think is really important, and things people tell you, and just go to the park and do a daily practice of just even a squiggle keeps your creativity going and helps a lot. I think flowers in nature too, that's a big one, helps a lot, like to just feel inspired.
I agree. Nature has so many different inspiring things, and that sounds so cool how you could just look at the houses and be like, whoa, I want to make something out those colors. Like, that's just amazing the way.
Yeah, I'll have to send you some pictures of some of the cool ones I've seen.
So, can you describe what graphic design is to a kid?
Yeah, so I think for a kid, what graphic design is basically getting to create imagery and ideas and experiences on the computer and get to tell a story. So you get to, learn how to make typography, which is fonts, right? And what fonts you can use for people. So if you're doing a magazine or an ad or even the map behind you, why you choose those fonts, right? So you get to learn a lot about that. But then you also get to learn a lot about problem solving and communication, like why the design is a certain way and why you would make it like that. So think of children's books and ads and things like that, and then book covers, toy packaging. And so that's kind of like what the concept of graphic design is you get to use bright colors and shapes and understand how to create that in a way that makes sense as to why you would like it and someone would like it. Does that make sense to you, or do you want me to kind of expand on some stuff?
No, I think it makes sense. So basically, you can take colors and shapes and then combine them together to make different stuff, and then you can use that to make environments, ads, toy packaging, and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, even like the map behind you and the colors and stuff and why those are certain colors. There's always a story as to why things are certain colors in certain fonts and why they look like that for the person that is the viewer of the art.
Wow. And for all the kids out there who don't know what a font is, how would you describe a font?
A font is like an easy to read thing. It's like a decorative way of writing. I guess that's the easiest way to say.
So, like, words. It's like words. So if there was something and it were just block letters like that, and
Hmm.
then there's something else and it's really fancy with loops and cursive and stuff like
Hmm.
that, those are two different fonts. It's just basically
Yeah.
the way something is written out.
Yep, exactly. So, have you ever typed into something online, like a Microsoft Word or Google Doc, or have you gone into Canva?
You mentioned Canva earlier, and I
Hmm.
actually use Canva a lot. And when I think of fonts, I think of Canva. Speaking of Canva, since you mentioned it, you must use it. What are some tips that you give kids like me or other kids about using Canva with graphic design?
Yeah. So Canva is a great example and it's very accessible and it's free. They have really good fonts that are specific to them too, which is great. Canva is great. They have, I think just playing around with it is awesome. It's very easy to use and they have a lot of availability and colors. I think it's just going in there and seeing what you like, the shapes you like, the colors you like, and kind of experimenting. There's no right or wrong way to do graphic design when you're learning. and just putting in what you enjoy and what your imagery is and what you want to represent. So even playing with fonts and writing your name out, you can play with the colors of each letter, you can play with the spacing, how you want to stack it, and that in itself is typography and graphic design. And then you can put it over a picture to make a poster, yard sale, lemonade sale. So there's you could always be using it to make fun stuff, even if it's a sign for your door to keep like your siblings out.
That's a really cool example. And I would highly recommend Canva. It's an awesome way because not only do they just have a bunch of fonts, they have graphic design and they've got lots of different stuff, and you can just go there and mess around if it's making a poster, if it's just making something that you can simply go back to Canva and just look on. Canva
Yeah.
is so much fun. And
And they have a lot of templates too. So if you don't know where to start, you can actually use one of their free templates to get inspiration to see what you want to do. And what's cool is that if you're making a poster with one of your friends, you can share it for free and you guys can both work on it at the same time. That's one of the things I really like about it.
that's so cool. So when I'm doing Canva, I love to put on my favorite song just to help me focus and get in the mood of designing and inspiration. And you actually also work in music too, right?
Yeah.
How would you describe what you do in music to a kid?
Oh man, okay. This is a lot of layers. Okay, so I do a lot of different things in the music industry. I was working in artist relations, so I was kind of like the middle person between a musician and whatever else on the other side. So I would do all the communication for them. But now I have two different jobs. So side one is I work at a record label. I am a label and publishing manager. Within that, there's two jobs. I won't get too deep in it because it can get very lot of layers in that as well. But basically, I help artists with their drops. So stuff you listen to on Spotify, I'm the one that's sending it to the distributor with making sure there's the right label, right artwork, the right artists that are tagged. I make sure that it goes on all the streaming platforms. I make sure that all the splits are right. So if you and I did a song and it was 50-50, I make sure that's put in the back end so that you can get paid when it's streamed and I can get paid as well. And so I do a lot of that and then make sure they have all their stuff for socials. If there's music videos, that it's going on the right thing. I'm running the ads that you'll sometimes see and I go and get playlisting done and I get blogs to write about it. So that's one side and publishing's a different side, but that'll take a little bit longer to explain. And then on the other side, I do consulting. So I work with a lot of different artists and what I'll do is I kind of come in as an executive director slash project manager. So basically, to put it in like smaller terms, I'm an admin queen, is what I say, because what I do is I come in where artists don't have time to do the little things that you might miss that are really important, but because they're independent and they have so much stuff to do all the time, they kind of forget to do that stuff or it's stressful. So I come in and I help them. So I'll come in and do day to day with them. So answer emails, do reach out, do partnerships. I'll help them with projects. I've helped someone else with like a zine, which I actually ended up designing as well. So I kind of do things like that where I can come in and just hyper focus on stuff that could be a little tedious to do and you kind of have to drag your feet because they want to focus on their music, right? And getting things out. So that's where I kind of have that skill set where I'm like, well, let me help you with this. And where do you need help?
How, what's it like to work with musicians?
Oh, it's it's fun. It is a lot of work because there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that happens that I don't think people realize as especially as independent artists when they do everything themselves. People don't realize how much work that is to get a correct release and get stuff in and how much money that costs. But it is very rewarding for me working with independent artists. I think there's something about myself being a creative seeing people win and thrive and get good results and seeing them, people celebrate them and their art. And when someone truly has like something about their project is very like that you could just see how passionate they are. That's the word I'm looking for. It really inspires me because they're so inspired by themselves and it's very rewarding. It's a lot of work because of how the music industry is now, but seeing the what people will call little wins are actually very big wins for me, independent artists, and it just makes me happy to see talented people um, be seen.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree highly. Like, it's just to see people be happy and then you help them get into that spot. It's just satisfying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or even when and then they turn around and they thank you, and then you're like, I did it.
Yeah. It's, for me, it's like I don't, most of the time, I don't even want credit. Well, people will say thank you all the time. Yes, because, that's what nice people do. But I really just, for me, I like being the behind the scenes where I don't need credit by the people, by the public, because it's not about me. Like the way I see it is I'm helping people so they can thrive and it's really about them. So that makes me like the happiest. It's just seeing people happy and their art being out in the world that there's just something else you get a feeling from.
Yeah, it's just the satisfaction of somebody having a dream and it's a really good dream and then they want to make it come true. So then you're like, hey, I have this skill and then you need this skill so I can help you have your dream come true. And then you end up doing that. And then later on, it's just so great for them and it helps them and it helps you. And then they're just like, thank you. And then to just know that you're a part of making somebody happy for something that they wanted to do, it's a great feeling to have.
You nailed that one, 100%.
If anybody wanted to follow your journey, they can find you at Round Potato Cat, right?
Basically, like on all socials, yes. Even my email. Like it's very much my brand now. So yeah,
Oh, I love that name. I can't say it and not laugh at it. I
I
love
love it. See, that brings me a lot of joy though, because that's kind of what I want. It's like a silly thing that everyone is so serious sometimes, especially when they work online, that it brings a little smile on people's faces.
All right, Jade, before we go, I've got two very serious questions for you.
Okay. Okay.
Number one, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Okay. Ooh, this is hard. Okay, so it's by the brand Jolly Llama, which is in itself very silly, but they have vegan ice cream and there's one that's like a sea salt caramel cone and it has dairy-free caramel because caramel is not usually vegan and it's really good. And then the boxed ones, or like the tub ones, I like the non-dairy Ben and Jerry's one, but there's this brand Oatly who has this coffee ice cream that's really good. And yeah, I love ice cream and I really wish that there was more soft serve vegan ice cream because soft serve vanilla chocolate mix ice cream that comes out of those machines are literally my favorite. There's something that makes me feel like summer every time I eat them. So, yeah.
That's
What about you?
that's a good question. So the other day we went to the Battery and we went to Jenny's ice cream.
Hmm.
And that day that we went there, they had come out with two new flavors. So I tried one of the flavors, and the flavor was burnt orange dreamsicle, and
Oh my God, that sounds so good.
it was delicious, and it was just orangey and creamy, and it just melted in your mouth, and it was delicious.
That sounds really, really good. Wow, that sounds really good.
All right, so before we go, our last very serious question is what superpower would you tell kids out there to work on?
I think that leaning into your creativity and who you are is a superpower with its own. I know it would be cool to have other superpowers that are magical, but I think that you're your own superpower. And this is something I learned in my adult life, which I wish I knew when I was younger. But your passion and your creativity and curiosity is what is your superpower, and just leaning into that and allowing yourself to be curious and keep learning, I think is a superpower within itself, because within that, I really think that knowledge is power. And when you really allow yourself to just kind of explore those things in your life, you make yourself the superpower. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, that's so
Okay.
cute. And
Sometimes I ramble.
I agree a lot. Like if you have your creativity with just a dash of imaginary, then you can turn a cardboard box into a spaceship and
Mhm.
go to outer space Pluto or whatever. With an apple and an orange, when you put them together, you can have a mini snowman. And
Yeah.
I agree that your creativity and your imagination both combined or separated, it can take you literally anywhere that you want to go.
Yeah. And be curious. I mean, experiment, do crazy, wacky stuff, put colors and things together and try new foods, and put two foods you think would never go together and put that together, or make a crazy scented candle. I think stuff like that is what really unlocks those things. So yeah, you get it, girl.
All right. Well, it's been fantastic having you on this interview, Jade. And I was just so happy that you were able to be here for this. It was so nice learning about from music to graphic design to just letting your imagination and creativity run wild. And you did a fantastic job. So thank you for being here.
No, thank you. This was literally my pleasure, and I'm so honored that I got to come here and just talk to you. And you're a fantastic interviewer. I love your questions, and I can't wait to see all the other ones you do and where your journey takes you. And always here to to talk and answer questions, and keep that curiosity going. And I'm really proud of you. You're amazing.
Thank you so much. That's a very big compliment for me. Well, for all the kids out there who are going to end up watching this and adults too, thank you so much for coming on my second ever interview with Jade. She was an amazing guest to have on here, and I can't wait to see you all on my next interview, and we'll see who we interview then. Bye.
Yay! Bye.